of the things that stuck out to me the most during the tell-all was Kody's proclamation that the only thing he fears is poverty. And that is a powerful statement. Like, I think that he thought it was clever and he thought it was funny and he thought it was like witty, but it reveals a lot about your character. Because again, there's an old saying, the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, but the love of money. If he has a fascination and an obsession with achieving money, then that most certainly can impact how he deals with people, how he deals with his loved ones, how he sees other people and the people around him. Now, before we get into it, I would first like to thank everyone who is subscribed to the channel. Thank you guys. You're helping the channel to grow. I really appreciate you. Next, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask that you consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps the channel out. It helps me out. And hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So go ahead and give me that HBO special, which stands for Help a Brother Out Special, by clicking the subscribe button, ring the bell for when I upload. You'll get notifications. Next, if you are enjoying the content, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're still enjoying the ideas and the discussions we're having, and we'll keep the trainer rolling. Also, never forget that you are more than welcome to share the videos. Share, because sharing is caring. All right, let's get it. Now, when we start talking about Kody and the wives and his relationship with money and how this all started and that ugly statement that he made, the only thing I fear is poverty. I'm not afraid of losing my family. I ain't afraid of losing my wife. I ain't afraid of losing my kids. I'm afraid of being broke. Like, people who have money don't chase money. Just like men who have access to a lot of women, you don't see them chasing a lot of women. The only guys who are obsessed with women and talking to women and a pretty girl come in are guys who have very little interaction with women. If you have interaction with women and you're used to being around women, then you meeting a woman or a pretty girl walking into a room or a beautiful woman walking into a room or coming into a supermarket is not going to make you lose your mind. But if you're not used to these things, then you're going to go crazy. If you're not used to money, you come from poverty. I get it. You come from poverty. You lived in a trailer. You guys were struggling with food. You guys had hunger issues. You struggled. And I get that. And now it seems as though everything is moving forward. But the problem that you have is that your obsession with trying to get more and more and more is blinding you to the relationships that you have that have made it fundamentally possible to put you in a position where you can achieve those things. And he's starting to turn his back on his wives because to him, his success and his financial achievements are all based on his own personal merit. And this is where, like, when I saw him come out in that suit and he made that statement, it all kind of fell in line for me because he put me in mind of those prosperity preachers that you used to see on TV who get on TV and talk about, yeah, if you send in 20% of tithes, the God will bless you, and you will be blessed, and you will have this, and you'll be able to pay your rent, you'll move into a big house, you'll get a nice car, and all that craziness. And they would use their religion and faith and people's willingness to believe in what they're saying and trying to achieve the favor of a higher being to try to make money. And that's not at least for me, that's not the purpose of having religion and having faith. If God wanted you to have that money, you would have that money if it was in your best interest. Sometimes having a bunch of money isn't in your best interest. There have been times where you could look back on your life and you could say, you know what, I'm a rich man living a poor man's life. But at the same time, you recognize, if you have self-awareness, you recognize that if you have money and you don't have a certain level of maturity, self-discipline, and control, then you having money will only lead to your destruction. Money isn't always a blessing. Having a lot of money especially isn't always a blessing, because you could have a stack of cash in the bank and then turn around and buy the fastest car you could possibly afford, go out there and push that car to the limit and put it up a damn tree. You could park it in a tree. Or you could run through a damn, schoolyard or something because you can't control what it is you're handling or the thing that you want. You weren't ready for it. And that's the whole idea. I see that Kody has achieved a certain level of financial success because of the opportunities that Christine had helped to provide by trying to get him on TLC in a documentary and doing the whole thing. She actually laid the groundwork for them to be able to experience the whole sister-wife franchise and opportunity. And because he had that opportunity, a lot of things that I see him doing and a lot of mistakes that I see them making in the financial era, it's easy for me to say because I'm standing on the sidelines pocket watching. I'm going to give it that. But the mistakes that I see them making, like they run out and they just dump money, and they're so busy just trying to acquire things that they're not taking a moment to make sure that they can move into that next era. So when Kody was talking about, we're just going to go ahead and rush in and try to buy Christine's house, that depends if Christine gives you a break. If Christine gives you a break and she does like a rent-to-own deal or whatever, in which case you're going to try to rip her off anyway, which opens you up for liability and possibility of being sued and having further assets taken from you. But okay, fine, let's pretend that you're just going to outright try to buy Christine's house for the asking price that she set forward, and you're going to try to put things in a place and you want Janelle to do it. You're going to empty your bank account out so that Janelle could buy this house that she don't want, so that one day possibly you could have an investment property. And then when you say investment property, a rental, you're saying that you have to check the market, you have to check the temperature, you have to make sure that people are actually renting homes in the area, not just you. Like, because he thinks that because his family is so amped up on trying to rent homes and rent places to stay because they're trying to make moves. Mary's in a rental. Janelle was in a rental for a number of years. I think when Christine and Robin first got to Flagstaff, they were in rentals and then they eventually bought. But he thinks that everybody is in a rental. Like, every time you buy a rental, that doesn't mean necessarily that you just all of a sudden going to get a huge cash flow of money, influx of money. Having a rental or having those types of assets really are great for people who can manage those types of assets, because it's not just a thing where it's like a magic money tree where you put somebody in a house and you just keep collecting rent the whole time. You still got to pay the taxes, you still got to pay for upkeep, you still have to make sure that the person is paying. Like, if you have a situation like he talks so much about the virus and panorama, the pandemic destroying his family. Imagine if he had a bunch of rental properties and people were staying in all these rental properties. The mortgage companies still want their money, but as it turned out, they gave a forbearance where people who were staying in the rental properties, they were not doing the evictions. So people weren't paying their rents. But the people who owned the property still had to pay for the mortgage. They still had to pay for upkeep. If something happened in the property, you still had to go back and make sure that the property was being taken care of. Pipes were still busting. Water heaters were still going out. If snow happened, you had to get out there and shovel. You have to make sure that you're maintaining your property and you're not getting that influx of cash. That's just merely one example of things that can go wrong. So you want to make sure that you're financially set. And I don't see where Kody is doing that per se. And in addition to that, you listen to him as he was talking, and this isn't the first time he started talking about the whole fake ass pimp in a pulpit wannabe type guy, where he's come out with his little slickster suit on ready to start preaching a message of prosperity. He started talking about money way back when Christine had first talked about leaving him. One of the first things and one of the things that stuck out to me most about that conversation wasn't necessarily his interest in trying to maintain and keep a relationship with his daughter and trying to be mature enough to have a working relationship and a co-parenting relationship with his soon-to-be ex-wife. His main point and his main focus was and concern was Christine leaving, going to find a man who's going to come after his money. That's what he was concerned about. When he started talking about Christine and one of the things that he brought up, if you leave me, then the state is going to come in and they're going to take all your money. They're going to take all your money. Like, and then they tried to backpedal it and say, oh, yeah, they're going to take Christine or they're going to take Truly from you. Because, basically she becomes another thing. But, yeah, the lawyers, the judge, the states, they're going to take all your money. And I don't want you to move to Utah because then they're going to come after my money. Like, there was a whole lot of conversation about his finances and his money when it came to him talking about what was happening with his family and the dissolution of his family. And that is concerning. When you're that obsessed with money, then you make yourself vulnerable to a lot of things that you aren't paying attention to. You spend so much time chasing that dollar, and I get it. Like, everybody's got bills that they got to pay. You're behind on stuff, or you have things that you want to do, and you can't necessarily see a way to get those things done. I get it. I totally understand. But at the same time, don't lose yourself in the chase for money. Because when you start to make that little barter, that you're going to trade you're willing to do anything for that money, anything for that gold and greenbacks, that cream, that cheddar, that feta, whatever you want to call it. When you're willing to sacrifice whatever it takes for you to get those things, then that's when you open the door for a lot of negativity to come into your life. Because people can force you to do things that you honestly would never do. Maybe there was a time like when Kody and Janelle and Christine and Mary talk about a time when the family was united. The reason why, at least my suspicion, why they were so close and why they clung to each other was because of poverty. Poverty held your family together. Poverty held your family together because you had to lean on one another. You had to rely on one another. You had to trust one another. You couldn't just pretend that, oh, I'm just going to go out and get a nanny. I'm not worried about Christine. You had to pay attention to what Christine was talking about. You had to deal with her concerns because she was the one taking care of your children. Christine was making it possible for these other women to be able to go to work. Mary, Janelle, when they were bringing in money to the home and money that was needed, you had to pay attention to them and you had to maintain those relationships and maintenance those relationships to make sure those relationships stayed healthy and functional because you needed their help in order for you to survive. Now that you feel a little bit of independence, now they get to see who you actually are. And that's the one thing about money and power. Money and power will always reveal who you are as a person. When you feel that you're elevated to a certain level and somebody gets elevated to a certain level, it's not that that person has changed. That person is just showing you who they've always been. Kody has always been a small person. Kody has always been a selfish person. He just now has the bank account to support his selfishness. And that's where a lot of I think the wives are being taken aback and being a little surprised at the man that they've married. Because now Kody's in a position where he thinks that he can have a pretty wife and he can have a pretty life and he have the big car, the big house, and he wants to be comfortable and everything has to be convenient for him because this is what rich people get, right? And rich people have better lives than poor people because poor people live horrible lives and they're not worthy, right? But the thing is, Kody, you were poor. And some of your happiest years were when you were poor. And it's the funny thing about it is that when you have money, money will give you access to a lot of things. And I'm not downplaying money at all. At all. Money is nice. Having money is nice. If you can get some money and put two pieces of money together and they can make babies and they got more money, oh, baby, that's a nice situation. But at the same time, having money, not having money in its own way can be a blessing. You having money isn't always a blessing because if you get money and you aren't prepared for that money and you're not ready for that money, then you will destroy yourself and you could potentially destroy the people around you. What do I mean? A simple example. You can have all the money in the world, right? That gives you access to a lot of people because there's a lot of people who pretend to be your friends because you have a lot of money. And if you don't have the discerning eye to be able to determine who's your friend and who's not, who's using you and who's not, then you having money, you think that, hey, everybody loves me. Everybody is my friend. And you have a bunch of people around you who will backstab you and destroy you at a heartbeat. When you have a lot of money, it gives you access to a lot of things. You can go places, you can do things that you probably should never be even trying to do. But you got money to do it. Sometimes having those things and having that money when you're not ready for those things can be very destructive towards you and the people around you. You have, as a parent, if you have a bunch of money, like you go out and you hit the lotto and you win a lottery and all of a sudden you can put everybody around you on easy street. But not everybody needs to be on easy street. Some people have lessons that they have to learn to prepare for having that type of wealth in their life. And you go ahead and you give them that wealth before they're ready for it. They get married to the wrong people. They make friends with the wrong people. They live in the wrong part of town. They constantly get robbed and knocked over the head because they always got to go somewhere to try to show off, and they're showing off to the wrong people. Money is a thing where you have to be prepared for money. You have to be ready for it. And you want to constantly work towards that and improve your character, improve who you are, improve your balance. You want to have a balance in life. Everything can't be about how much you got in the bank. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. My name is James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out.